Welcome to the HR Tech Nexus Podcast, the go-to resource for small and mid-sized businesses ready to revolutionize recruiting and onboarding. Twice a week, we deliver actionable, budget-friendly tech strategies to help you compete for top talent globally without enterprise-level costs. If you're drowning in manual hiring tasks, battling compliance headaches, or stuck with clunky HR systems, you're in the right place. We break down tools like AI-driven applicant trackers, seamless onboarding platforms, and compliance automation, all scaled for SMEs. Join me as we unpack real-world strategies from HR leaders who've slashed time to hire, boosted retention, and built future-ready teams.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're going to be talking about something today that I think is pretty important for any business owner, but especially those with small or medium businesses. And that's onboarding.
Yes.
Getting those new hires settled in and ready to contribute. And to help us out today, we're diving into this awesome guide from HR Tech Nexus. They always seem to be like on the cutting edge of everything HR tech. And I'm really excited to kind of dig into this guide with you because they make a pretty bold claim right off the bat. They say that you can make your onboarding process so good that new hires will actually think they won the lottery.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if I fully believe that, but I'm definitely intrigued.
It's a lofty goal, right? But I think it speaks to the potential impact of a well-structured onboarding process. It's not just about making people feel good, though. That's certainly part of it. It's really about creating a process that sets them up for success from day one.
Right. And speaking of success, one of the things that really jumped out at me in this guide was this statistic that almost 20% of new hires leave a company within the first 45 days.
Right.
That's huge.
It is a significant number.
I mean, you think about all the time and money that you spend recruiting and hiring and training someone, and then they just walk out the door before they even really get settled.
Right. And it really highlights the hidden cost of poor onboarding. We think about the lost productivity, the financial burden of having to replace those employees, and of course, the impact on team morale when you have that kind of turnover. So a well-structured onboarding process, it's not just and nice to have. It's really a strategic imperative for any business, especially small and medium businesses.
Okay, I'm convinced we need to nail onboarding. So where do we start?
Well, the HR Tech Nexus Guide breaks it down into a series of steps, and they actually recommend starting even before day one with what they call pre-boarding.
Pre-boarding. Okay, so what is it, like the pre-game show before the main event?
Exactly. Think of it as rolling out the red carpet before your new hire even steps foot in the office. So instead of just sending a generic welcome email, how about a personalized video message from their future team or access to a fun, interactive quiz about your company culture?
Ooh, I like that, a quiz. It's like gamifying the onboarding process right from the start.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, let's not forget the practical side of pre-boarding, making sure they have all the necessary logins, access to software, maybe even a welcome package with some company swag. A detailed checklist can be a lifesaver here, making sure everything is in place before their first day, and you want to eliminate any potential for first-day confusion or frustration.
Checklists. Every organized person's best friend.
But all right, the big day arrives day one. How do we make it memorable? In a good way, of course.
Yeah, you don't want them to remember it for the wrong reason.
Exactly. Not the I can't believe this is happening kind of memorable. All right, well, first impressions are everything. So a well-structured first day should include a warm welcome introductions to key team members, a clear agenda for the day, and perhaps a tour of the workspace. A small welcome kit with some company goodies never hurts either. It's really about making them feel like they're part of the team from the moment they walk through the door.
Okay, so we're setting the stage with a well-planned first day, but then comes the real challenge, training. How do we ensure that our new recruits have the skills and knowledge they need to hit the ground running and, actually do their jobs effectively?
Right. Training is absolutely crucial, and it needs to be tailored to the specific needs of each role and delivered in a way that resonates with different learning styles. And this is where technology can be a real game changer.
Okay.
Think e-learning platforms, online modules, even virtual reality simulations in some cases. These tools allow for self-paced learning, personalized feedback, and a more engaging experience overall.
Wait, hold on. Virtual reality simulations for onboarding. That sounds straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It might have a few years ago, but it's becoming increasingly common, especially for roles that require hands-on training. But even without VR, there are so many fantastic tools available that can transform the training experience. Take a platform like Lessonly, for example. It's user-friendly, highly customizable, and allows you to create interactive courses that are both informative and engaging.
Okay, Lessonly noted. I'm already sensing a theme here. Technology is key. But what about the human element? I'm a big believer in mentorship programs and buddy systems. I think having someone to guide you through the ropes in those early days can make all the difference.
Absolutely. Mentorship and buddy systems can be incredibly valuable for fostering a sense of belonging and providing new hires with a go-to person for all those questions that inevitably arise. A mentor can offer guidance and advice based on their experience, while a buddy can provide a more informal peer-to-peer support system.
Right. It's like having a built-in support network, which can be especially important for new hires who might be feeling a bit lost or overwhelmed in those early days.
Exactly. And it sends a clear message that the company is invested in their success, not just throwing them in the deep end and hoping for the best. This is a great example of how even simple initiatives can significantly impact retention.
All right, so we've got pre-boarding, a well-structured first-day engaging training programs, and the support of mentors and buddies. I'm starting to feel like we're building a pretty solid onboarding foundation here.
We're getting there, but there's another layer we need to talk about, and that's technology. And I'm not just talking about training tools. I'm talking about leveraging technology to streamline and optimize the entire onboarding process.
Okay, tell me more. This is where it gets really interesting.
Think about all the paperwork involved in onboarding employment forms, tax documents, benefit enrollment. It can be a nightmare for both HR and the new hire. But with the right tools, a lot of that can be automated.
Ah, the sweet sound of automation. Less paperwork, more time for meaningful interactions. I like it. But seriously, how does this work in practice?
Well, there are some fantastic HR software solutions out there specifically designed to automate and streamline onboarding processes. Platforms like Bamboo HR, for instance, can handle everything from digital paperwork to automated onboarding workflows, freeing up HR professionals to focus on more strategic initiatives.
So Bamboo HR is basically like having a digital onboarding assistant.
In a way, yes. And it's not just about automation. A centralized HR system can be a game changer, especially for small and medium businesses. It allows new hires to access all the information they need: company policies, training materials, benefits information in one convenient location.
Okay, that's a huge benefit. I remember starting a new job and just feeling completely overwhelmed by the sheer volume of information thrown at me. It was like trying to drink from a fire hose.
Exactly, and that's what we want to avoid. A centralized HR system makes everything easily accessible and digestible, reducing overwhelm and empowering new hires to find the information they need when they need it.
So less overwhelm, more clarity. I'm all for it. But what about tracking progress and measuring the effectiveness of all these efforts? How do we know if our onboarding process is actually working?
That's where data comes in. Many of these HR platforms offer analytics and reporting features that provide valuable insights into the onboarding process. You can track metrics like completion rates for onboarding tasks, time to productivity, and even gather feedback from new hires to identify areas for improvement.
Data-driven improvement music to my ears.
Oh.
But let's get real for a second. We're talking about small and medium businesses here who might not have the resources or budget of larger corporations. Are these fancy HR platforms even accessible to them?
That's a valid point, but the good news is that there are solutions available for businesses of all sizes and budgets. So while some platforms like Bamboo HR are geared towards larger organizations, others like Gusto are specifically designed with small businesses in mind. They offer a more affordable all-in-one solution that includes everything from payroll and benefits to onboarding and HR management.
So there's really no excuse for not having a solid onboarding process in place, regardless of your company size or budget.
Exactly. There are solutions out there to fit every need. It's all about finding the right tools and strategies for your specific organization.
I'm convinced technology is an essential ingredient in the recipe for onboarding success. But let's not forget about the human touch. How do we ensure that our new hires not only understand the job, but also embrace the company culture?
That's where things like cultural workshops, team-building activities, and storytelling come into play. These are great ways to introduce new hires to the company's values, history, and overall vibe.
Okay, so we're talking about more than just handing them a company handbook. We're talking about creating experiences that bring the company culture to life.
Exactly. Think about what makes your company unique. What are the stories that define your brand? What are the values that drive your team? Find creative ways to weave those elements into the onboarding process.
I can already picture it. This is your company video montage set to inspiring music, or a scavenger hunt that takes new hires through the different departments and introduces them to key players.
Those are great ideas. And don't underestimate the power of storytelling. Sharing anecdotes about the company's journey, its successes, and even its failures can create a sense of connection and make new hires feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves.
So we're personalizing the experience, integrating new hires into the company culture. What else can we do to set our new hires up for success?
Let's not forget about knowledge sharing and networking. These are essential for fostering collaboration and ensuring that everyone feels connected and informed, especially in a smaller company where everyone wears multiple hats.
Okay, I'm all ears. How do we encourage that cross-pollination of ideas and expertise?
Well, the HR Tech Nexus Guide suggests implementing things like cross-departmental meetings and internal forums. These provide opportunities for people to share their knowledge, experiences, and perspectives, breaking down silos and fostering a more collaborative work environment.
I love that. It's like creating a hive mind where everyone can contribute their unique skills and insights. And it's especially beneficial for new hires who can learn from the experience of their colleagues and quickly get up to speed on the inner workings of the company. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We've covered a lot of ground already, from pre-boarding to technology to cultural integration. What's coming up next in our deep dive into efficient onboarding?
We've laid a strong foundation, but now it's time to dive into the metrics that matter. We'll explore how small and medium businesses can measure the effectiveness of their onboarding processes, using data to drive continuous improvement and ensure they're getting the most out of their efforts.
Sounds like we're about to get into the nitty-gritty of data analysis.
Yeah, data can be incredibly powerful, especially when it comes to refining and improving your onboarding process.
Okay.
It's not just about gathering numbers, it's about understanding what those numbers tell us about the effectiveness of our efforts.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What kind of metrics should small and medium businesses be tracking to kind of gauge the success of their onboarding programs? What are those key performance indicators that scream we're doing onboarding, right?
Well, there are a few key metrics that can provide valuable insights. First, we have time to productivity. This measures how quickly new hires are getting up to speed and contributing meaningfully to their teams.
Like, time to productivity makes sense. We want our new hires firing on all cylinders as soon as possible, right?
Yeah.
But how do we actually measure something like that? It's not like there's a stopwatch for every new hire.
It does require some thought, but it's definitely doable. You can set clear benchmarks based on the role. For example, for a sales representative, it could be the time it takes them to close their first deal or reach a certain number of qualified leads. For a software developer, it might be the time it takes to complete their first project or contribute a certain number of lines of code.
So it's about setting realistic expectations based on the role and then tracking progress towards those goals. Makes sense. What other metrics should we be keeping an eye on?
Next up is new hire retention rates. This one's pretty straightforward. It's all about tracking how many new hires stay with the company for a specific period. High retention rates are a strong indicator of a successful onboarding process.
Okay, that's a big one. If your onboarding process is so good that people are sticking around, you're doing something right. But let's be honest, some turnover is inevitable. How do we know if our retention rates are good or bad?
There's no magic number, as it can vary depending on the industry and other factors, but it's essential to compare your retention rates to industry benchmarks and your own historical data to understand trends and identify potential red flags.
Right. It's all about context. But high retention rates aren't just a vanity metric, right? There's a real business impact here.
Absolutely. Reducing employee turnover saves money and resources in the long run. It also contributes to a more stable and engaged workforce, which benefits everyone.
Well, I'm convinced retention rates are crucial. What's the last metric we should be paying attention to?
Last but certainly not least, we have employee satisfaction surveys. These provide valuable qualitative feedback directly from the source, your new hires.
Feedback is gold. It's a chance to really get into the minds of our new hires and understand what's working, what's not, and where we can improve. But how do we ensure we're getting honest and constructive feedback?
Anonymity is key. Guarantee that their responses will be kept confidential. This encourages people to be more open and honest in their feedback. Also, keep the surveys short and focused. You want to get valuable insights without overwhelming your new hires with a lengthy questionnaire.
Right. Keep it concise and focused. So we're tracking time to productivity, retention rates, and gathering feedback through surveys. That feels like a pretty well-rounded approach to measuring onboarding effectiveness. But what about the specific challenges that small, medium businesses face? It's not always easy for them to implement these elaborate processes.
You're right. Scrums often have limited resources and bandwidth, but that's where creativity and adaptability come into play.
Okay, I'm all about working smarter, not harder. Give me some of those creative solutions.
One of the biggest advantages FMs have is their ability to personalize the onboarding experience. They can ditch the one-size-fits-all approach and tailor the process to individual needs and roles.
I love that. It's like the difference between a mass-produced greeting card and a handwritten note. That personal touch makes all the difference.
Yeah.
But how do we actually personalize onboarding without adding a ton of extra work to our already overflowing plates?
Think about creating different onboarding tracks based on roles or departments. For example, a sales representative might need a more intensive product training program, while a marketing coordinator might benefit from a deeper dive into the company's brand and messaging.
Okay, so we're segmenting our onboarding based on specific needs. That makes a lot of sense. What else can we do to make onboarding feel more personal and less like a robotic process?
Leverage technology. Use your HR platform to automate personalized welcome messages, assign relevant tasks based on roles, and even schedule automatic check-ins with managers to ensure new hires feel supported and connected.
Technology streamlining the personal touch. I love the irony. But personalization isn't just about making people feel good, is it? There's a real business case here.
You're absolutely right. Personalized onboarding leads to higher engagement, faster ramp-up times, and ultimately better retention. It's a win-win for both the employee and the company.
All right, I'm sold on personalization. What other challenges do SAMs face? And how can we turn those challenges into opportunities?
Another common hurdle for SAMs is creating a strong sense of company culture, especially in today's remote and hybrid work environments.
Right. It's harder to build those informal connections and absorb the company culture when you're not physically in the office. So how do we bridge that gap?
It requires being intentional and creative. Instead of relying on those serendipitous water cooler conversations, create structured opportunities for connection and cultural immersion.
Okay, I'm liking where this is going. Give me some examples.
Think about implementing virtual coffee chats where new hires can connect with colleagues from different departments. Or organize online team-building activities that are fun, engaging, and reinforce company values. You can even create a virtual culture hub where new hires can access information about the company's history, mission, and values.
I love that. A virtual culture hub. What a cool way to bring the company's story to life in the digital space. But let's not forget about knowledge sharing. How do we encourage collaboration and ensure that everyone feels connected and informed, especially in a smaller company where everyone wears multiple hats?
This is where those cross-departmental meetings and internal forums we mentioned earlier come into play. They provide a structured platform for people to share their knowledge, experiences, and perspectives, breaking down silos and fostering a more collaborative work environment.
Right. Those platforms can be a game changer for SAMs where collaboration is often the key to success. But how do we make sure these meetings and forums are actually effective and not just another item on everyone's already overflowing to-do list?
Keep them focused and relevant. Set clear objectives for each meeting or forum and ensure that the content is tailored to the needs and interests of the participants. Encourage active participation and create a safe space for people to ask questions and share their ideas.
All right, so we're talking about structured collaboration, not just aimless meetings. Makes sense. But let's not forget about the role of technology in all of this. We've talked about HR platforms, but are there other tools that can enhance the onboarding experience?
Absolutely. There are so many fantastic tools out there that can streamline communication, enhance collaboration, and make onboarding more engaging and effective.
Okay, I'm ready for a tech deep dive. What are some of your favorite tools?
For communication and project management platforms like Slack and Asana can be incredibly valuable, especially for remote and hybrid teams. They provide a centralized hub for communication file sharing and task management.
Those are classics. I can't imagine working without Slack. What about tools specifically designed for knowledge sharing and learning?
Platforms like Lessonly, which we mentioned earlier, can be used not only for formal training, but also for creating and sharing knowledge bases and internal wikis. This allows employees to access information and learn from each other's expertise.
So we're democratizing knowledge and creating a culture of continuous learning. I love that. But let's not forget about the importance of feedback. How do we ensure that our onboarding process is constantly evolving and improving?
Feedback is crucial. Regularly solicit feedback from new hires at various stages of the onboarding process. Use pulse surveys, one-on-one meetings, and exit interviews to gather insights into what's working, what's not, and where you can make improvements.
So it's a continuous feedback loop. always striving to make the onboarding experience better and better. But let's face it, onboarding is just the beginning of the employee journey. What happens after the onboarding process is complete? How do we ensure that our new hires continue to feel supported, engaged, and motivated?
That's where ongoing development comes in. It's crucial to provide opportunities for professional growth mentorship and continuous learning.
All right, so we're talking about investing in our employees' long-term success, not just their initial onboarding.
Exactly. It's about creating a culture of continuous learning and development where everyone feels empowered to grow and reach their full potential.
And that's a win-win for both the employee and the company. Engaged and motivated employees are more productive, innovative, and loyal.
Couldn't agree more. And it all starts with a strong onboarding process that sets the stage for a successful and fulfilling employee journey.
Well said. This deep dive into the world of onboarding has been incredibly insightful. We've covered everything from the importance of structured onboarding to SAM's specific best practices to the role of technology and data in continuous improvement.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, what we're really talking about is creating a workplace where people feel valued, supported, and empowered to do their best work.
And that's something we can all get behind, no matter what size company we're in. But before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought-provoking question. Imagine you have the power to design one completely unconventional onboarding activity, something that truly captures the essence of your company culture. What would it be?
Oh, that's a fun question.
Right.
It really challenges us to think outside that typical onboarding playbook.
Exactly. We've talked about personalized approaches, technology, data-driven decisions, but this is about tapping into that creative spark. What kind of unique experience would make new hires say, wow, I'm so glad I joined this company?
Well, if we're going for unconventional, how about a company-wide escape room challenge designed around your core values? It could test problem-solving skills, collaboration, and even incorporate elements of your company history.
Oh, I love that. A company-wide escape room, it's interactive, it's engaging, and definitely memorable. It would also, I think, reveal a lot about how people work together under pressure.
Yeah.
What else have you got?
Another idea could be a culture fair. Each department would host a booth showcasing their work projects and personality. Think science fair meets company carnival with games, interactive displays, and maybe even some friendly competition.
Okay, that's brilliant. I can already picture the marketing team setting up a photo booth with company swag.
Yeah.
The engineering team building a robot that demonstrates their latest innovation. And the HR team, well, they'd probably be handing out snacks and making sure everyone's having fun.
Exactly. It's about creating a vibrant and engaging experience that allows new hires to explore the different facets of the company and connect with their colleagues in a more informal setting.
And it's a great way to showcase the diversity of talent and expertise within the organization. But let's not forget about the power of storytelling. How can we incorporate that into the onboarding experience?
Storytelling is such a powerful tool for connecting with people on an emotional level. You could have a session where longtime employees share their personal stories about their journey with the company, the challenges they've overcome, and the lessons they've learned. It's a way to humanize the onboarding experience and make new hires feel like they're part of a shared history.
I love that. It's like creating a living, breathing archive of the company's journey passed down from one generation of employees to the next. It would be so much more engaging than just reading about it in a handbook.
Absolutely. Stories have a way of sticking with us, of making us feel connected to something bigger than ourselves. And that's what we're ultimately trying to achieve with onboarding, creating a sense of belonging, purpose, and shared identity.
Well said. This deep dive into the world of onboarding has been incredibly insightful. We've covered everything from the importance of a structured process to the power of personalization technology and data-driven decisions. But most importantly, I think we've really highlighted the human element of onboarding and the importance of creating an experience that is both engaging and meaningful for new hires.
I couldn't agree more. A well-designed onboarding program is an investment in your people, your company culture, and ultimately your long-term success.
And for those looking for expert guidance and resources to create an onboarding experience that truly wows, be sure to check out HR Tech Nexus. Their guide on efficient onboarding is a treasure trove of valuable insights, and their website is packed with articles, case studies, and best practices.
They're a fantastic resource for staying ahead of the curve in the ever-evolving world of HR tech. Don't forget to sign up for their newsletter to get the latest updates and insights delivered straight to your inbox.
It's like having a personal HR guru on call, always ready to answer your questions and provide expert guidance. So go forth, our fellow deep divers, and transform your onboarding process from ordinary to extraordinary.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
Thanks for joining us on the HR Tech Nexus podcast. Ready to take action? Head to hrtechnexus.com to access today's episode resources, including actionable guides, real-world case studies, and free tools to streamline your hiring and onboarding. Don't miss our weekly newsletter for bite-sized HR tech hacks, software comparisons, and compliance tips tailored to SMEs. No enterprise-level budgets required. And if you're ready to transform your HR workflows with custom-built solutions, book a free discovery call with our experts. We design strategies that fit your company's size, industry, and global needs. Until next time, innovate boldly, outsmart the status quo, and let's build HR teams that don't just compete, they dominate.